What's up, you guys? Let's get into this letter that Diddy's attorneys are submitting to the courts because they want to get him a bail. They're calling it a proposed bail package. They start off by saying Mr. Combs' counsel is submitting this letter to the court for release on certain specified conditions. And then they say, for reasons set forth below, we ask the court to release him pursuant to our proposed bail package. It says this letter will walk the courts through a series of actions taken by Mr. Combs over the past 6 months that are supposed to prove that he is not a risk of flight or a danger to anyone in the community. Well, let's see if they can convince us. They say the first thing the court should know is that when it became apparent to his counsel that Mr. Combs would at some point be charged, he did something extraordinary. They go on to talk about how he left his home in Miami and went to New York, which is the very place that the prosecutors were trying to get him. They say through his counsel, Mr. Combs did tell the government that he voluntarily came to New York, basically saying, I'm here and ready to turn myself in when that time comes. They say that this is not the first thing that he did to show his trustworthiness and lack of flight risk. They say he's been doing all these trustworthy and non-flight risk things since or before March 25th, 2024. And that is when the raids took place on his home, where I believe they found those bottles of baby oil, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. They go on to say that they been knew the United States attorneys were investigating him for racketeering and sex trafficking, and he has been doing everything he can to cooperate with them. They say since April, he's been trying to sell his plane, and in May, they did inform the government that he is, in fact, trying to sell the plane. He is on home detention with GPS monitoring and all other standard conditions of pretrial supervision. And then this is supposed to be an example of the history of him working with the government. So let's see what they say. On March 13th, they messaged the government identifying themselves as his counsel. So basically saying, here's my attorney, here's his information, his contact information. If ever you need to speak with him, we are not hiding. You can talk to us. It goes on to talk about the search, saying that there was a lot of force being used. And then they go on to say on the day of the searches, counsel called the prosecutors and they spoke for the first time. Counsel indicated that he would accept service of 2 grand jury subpoenas to Combs' business. Next, they go on to say that Mr. Combs' attorneys took his passport and are not giving it back to him. Then lastly, they go into detail about, I guess, basically what they're willing to give up for this bail package. Co-signed by Sean Combs, his mother, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 oldest sons. Wow. Secured by the equity in Mr. Combs' residence, located at address stated there. The appraised value of the home is about $48 million. The home is unencumbered in anticipation of this bail hearing. Says that the home is paid off free of a mortgage. It'll also be secured by the equity of Mr. Combs' mother's home. Your mother. Is it that serious? It says that his travel will be restricted to southern Florida and southern New York. And that'll be to attend court, to meet with his counsel, and to attend medical appointments. And of course, the airport, because he's selling his plane. We already talked about him giving his passport to his attorneys, but they're also saying Janice, Chance, Jesse, Delilah, and Love Combs will all be giving their passports up as well.